Hello, everyone. Good, good morning to all. Welcome to Sadhan webinar on Indian Railway opportunities and challenges in front of us. So, as you might be aware, if you are already a subscriber to Sadhan, that we have entered into railway stocks quite early, around 2.5 years back. At that time, we have initiated position into major wagon manufacturers and a railway financier also. So those has been a good investment so far, but we have sold some of them, like railway financial company we have sold, but we are there at railway wagon manufacturing. So before we proceed into deep dive into this, let me just first thank Mr. Sumit Gazare for supporting us by choosing to be Sadhan Pro member. I welcome all of you into this railway sector deep dive. So the agenda here of doing deep dive is that we want the our investment community to know the depth of the businesses. We are not balance sheet, we are not PNL based investor ki iska agla quarter acha aane wala hai, so we invest. No, we that way somebody can make money. Let's say last cycle they could make money because we were in the up cycle, but right now we are in a cycle where the lots of side movement would happen, and in that scenarios, if you just know one quarter ahead, then hardly the returns would not be favorable. So the agenda here is not to kind of share stock recommendation, and whatever I'm going to talk about is none of them is a recommendation to buy any stocks. Whatever name I'm going to talk about is strictly for educational purpose, and I'm not SEBI registered investment advisor or or research analyst. So please conduct your due diligence before taking any investment decisions about the names which I'm going to talk about. Here I'm talking about uh, their businesses for educational purpose. I won't be touching the valuations anyway. So let's dig down to why railway is important and why I think there is some steam left or not. You would yourself know. So let me just share the screen with you guys, and I hope I am visible. You can give me a thumbs up in the comment if my screen was visible to you. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Prakash. Yeah, so since screen is visible now, okay. So let's try to fathom deep into this railway value chain. Okay, Indian Railway, are there any triggers for growth, or we are just sitting hoping something to happen? So that's the agenda on this YouTube live. So let's first understand why Indian Railway I'm talking about. Indian Railway is world's fourth largest railway network globally. If you look at their report card on the right, we'll see that the capital outlay has been increasing year on year basis since last 4 years, 5 years. The capital outlay has doubled from 1.3 lakh crore to 2.7 lakh crore is the capital spent on railways, which is a good sign for anybody who is invested or looking to invest into railway sector, because capital outlay is a major driver for growth or money making opportunities into any sectors through stock market. Out of this chart, let's go down into the details of it. So FY25, we saw around 2.62 lakh crore, which was 22.7% of total budgetary capex. So government is spending 100 rupees, then 22.7, roughly 23 rupees is being spent on railway capex out of the total 100 rupees capex, which is one fourth, which is that makes this sector very interesting. And this percentage is around 2.7% more than FY24. So how we are going to spend this through around 452 railway projects across where the length addition is roughly 49,000 kilometers, which would cost around 7.5 lakh crore, and they are in different stages of planning, sanction, and execution. Just for drawing a parallel, in FY24, we added around 5,500 kilometers. So roughly 50,000 kilometers, roughly 9 kilometers, 9 years of runway, if you would like to think like that. 8 9 years of growth is there in the, at least they are in the pipeline state. So we are not talking about some 1 year 2 year story. At least 8 years ka yahan pe we are seeing some visibility. New tracks added last year was 5,200 kilometer, while this year it is planned to do 5,500 kilometers in FY25. So that was so they want to match up to FY24 numbers. The target of railway to increase their passenger carrying capacity to 1,000 crore in 4 to 5 years from 800 crore currently. So there are two parts to railway. One is as a passenger supplier, a passenger carrier. So which is where they are all there also they want to expand, and also on the freight side we would know why freight is interesting. We have been studying about freight side also, and topping it up with high speed rail corridor. This is another project which will be allocated a capex around 5.1 lakh crore. So this include dedicated freight corridor DFC. So this 5 lakh crore is going to be spent in next 5 years with 12 high speed rail corridor, and are in planning stage. So that would around add 7,200 kilometers. Out of 50,000 kilometers, 7,000 kilometers are into high speed. So high speed is another opportunity for some of the portfolio companies. This is expected to add expected to add to rolling stock to cater to increased volume as India is emerging major and rakes. So this is the plate. Now, why railway is an obvious question which we try to answer here. And first of all is that railway as a logistic part is approximately 30% cheaper than the second cheapest mode, that is road, in a distance about 200 kilometers. So if we have to move anything beyond 200 kilometers, then railway is your way to go because it saves you cost. Secondly, government की एक जो policy आई है dedicated freight corridor policy, it plans to take railway from 30% of freight share currently being done to 45% in the country. So that is the target of DFC. We'll dig deeper about DFC in a minute. Roughly 80,000 crore has been spent on Eastern DFC and Western DFC. There are two DFC operational. One is Eastern and second is Western. So 80,000 crore has been spent on this. Eastern DFC is fully operational and Western DFC is still 15% incomplete. 85% it is completed. So once the Western part gets completed, then lots of good movement will happen. Eastern DFC और वेस्टर्न DFC पहले क्यों बनाई गई उसका लॉजिक भी मैं देना चाहूंगा, बिकॉज ऑल्दो ये तो गोल्डन क्वाड्रिलेटरल में आना था, यानी दो, एक ईस्टर्न एक वेस्टर्न एक नदर्न एंड एक साउदर्न बनना था. बट व्हाई फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस वाज गिवन टू ईस्टर्न? बिकॉज on the eastern side we have lots of mining activity happening and railway is basically a carrier of mine good largely speaking. तो ईस्ट में माइनिंग हो रही थी और उसको नॉर्थ में भेजना था, तो ईस्टर्न डीएफसी वाज फर्स्ट क्रिएटेड. देन वेस्टर्न इज अ place where if you are importing largely from the western side of the country, which is JNPT, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust. JNPT या मुंबई के आसपास के पोर्ट से वहां से स्टार्ट होता है and it comes to Ludhiana side. So which is the demand center. So DFC, Western DFC is 85% complete. If it gets completed fully, then lots of traffic will move to western part. DFC significantly reduced the transit time for freight trains. For example, a container train on DFC averages around 2.44 hours per 100 kilometers compared to 5.25 hours in a regular Indian railway networks. 5 hours for 100 kilometers, which means around 18 kilometers पर आवर की एवरेज स्पीड है अगर हम कन्वेंशनल की बात करें, एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू गो अप फ्रॉम 18 टू to more than 40, because 2.4 hours it will take. So 40, 18 say 40 is roughly double. So they want to increase the average speed of freight trains to double on DFC, and practically the speed trains, the speed has gone up in DFC. So DFC has become a major driver. And why DFC is first required? Because of the low speed, because we as the Indian Railway are operating at 18 kilometer per hour, which is very low speed, and that's why the trades are getting stuck. The transit timelines are so high that many businesses are unviable at 18 kilometer per hour. So low speed को tackle करने के लिए DFC is done. Then huge congestion is there on the golden quadrilateral, and it's diagonal. It just contains around 16% of railway network, but carries more than 52% of a passenger traffic and 58% of revenue earning freight traffic. So that's why there was 4 plus 1 5 DFCs were planned. So why DFCs are important, you should know. And also it is help to reduce the carbon emission for Indian Railway. So where is future investment lying here? First is the government plans to spend more than 2 lakh crore for the development of more DFC. So far 80,000 crore has been spent, and another 2 lakh crore will be spent on DFC. That's a huge tailwind. There is a 15% jump in capex in FY27. It is going to be 3 lakh crore. So from 2.7 to 3 lakh crore is going to be the capex. So वहीं से आएगा towards the DFC. Two detailed project reports have been submitted for East, West, and North South DFC, which was submitted in July 2024. So I think by now the work would have started, because almost 9 months now. So once it's approved, then I'm supposing that land acquisition and everything would have been happening. So that's where the buck is right now. Goal is to take this logistic cost of India as a percentage of GDP of 10% to 8%. So to reduce the logistics cost to 8%. So currently, whatever we are producing, we are spending 10% of it in transmitting it from one place to another, which is very negative for us as the economy. So this is very central piece of the puzzle of India growth story or Viksit Bharat business model. So what is the demand driver? As I said in my first video when I made on Jupiter way back 2 years back, then I said that the Coal India is the prime customer of Indian Railway. That's why we have to study the coal production. And coal production has reached 838 MT from 700 last time when I checked. 700 to 838 aa gaya hai. Now they are planning to do around 1000 million ton this year, FY26. So this is positive for coal India as well as for Indian Railway. अब उसमें जो coal जो transport होता है उसमें so far the equation is very lopsided. Non-road transportation, which is basically railway transportation, has gone up from 72% to 77%, and this is what I had expected to happen, and that's why railway has become a success story, because Coal India is shifting from road to non-road, which is railway. Also, you can see in the rightmost corner, the road is still 50%, but rail has gathered around 30% of the market share, more than 35%. That is leading to higher demands for wagons. So let's come to wagons. So wagons, may I have 4 points to talk about. One is that in 2022, the government planned to add 3 lakhs wagon to the network in the long term. So 3 lakh wagon का पूरा plan है. That was the one national rail plan की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. उसमें से फर्स्ट ऑर्डर जो बल्कि ऑर्डर जो किया उन्होंने 90,000 वैगन्स का ऑर्डर किया वर्थ 31,000 करोड़ in 2022. That time we invested into this sector, but we still have to see that this 90,000 wagon ही अभी हुए हैं. अभी 2,10,000 wagon are still not advertised, not RFQ'd. So वो RFQ stage में नहीं आए, because there is a limiting factor, and that is the capacity. Currently, the production capacity of India is 40,000 wagon per year. But last time, if I check, before 2014, the average wagon production was 13,000. So पहले 13,000 की स्पीड से काम हो रहा था, तो capacity were constrained. That's why you cannot just jump from 13,000 to 40,000 in a year. So it took 2-3 years. Last 3 years has been a huge capacity expansion, not capacity expansion, but there were many idle capacity which got utilized by all the players, major wagon players. Right now we are producing 40,000 wagon per year, so we expect this 90,000 order to get exhausted in this 6, 8, 9 months or a year, and then we'll look forward to another one. So Indian Railway has set a new record with production of 42,000 wagons nearly to boost cargo production, cargo capacity. So now we are at the different scale altogether. पहले 13,000 का नंबर था, अब 42,000. So more than 3 times the wagon production has gone up. So the past has not been glorious because we decided that we need to move strategically to long-term orders of 3 years instead of annual orders. So past को उन्होंने correct किया कि नहीं, annual order पहले मिलता था 1,300 per year ऐसे order होते थे. उन्होंने bulk में अभी 90,000 का order इसलिए दिया so that you get your time of 3 years to complete those 90,000 wagons order. So this shifting of annual to 3 years keeps a lot of pressure off from the wagon manufacturers. That has been passed, that has worked well for us. Presently, the average realization of per wagon is roughly 36 lakh per wagon, which is set to increase in the years to come. And why it is going to increase? Because there are certain leaseback schemes has been launched for BTPN wagons, which costs as high as 35 lakh per wagon. Generally, that is used in transporting petroleum products. So government, Indian Railway is trying to grab some share of petroleum transportation also from ONGC and likes of HPCL, BPCL and all. तो अगर वो वाले वैगन बिकेंगे तब तो there is a bonanza for wagon maker because those are very costly, 85 lakh wagon per wagon. So let's look at a company which we have tried to present to you. One is the major one is the Titagarh is the largest producer. Their production capacity is 1,000 wagon per month, which means 12,000 wagon a year. So out of 40,000, they are making around 25-27%. Order book is huge, 12,000 crore for this data is dated till since 31st December 2024. 12,000 crore is the order book, and passenger to freight ratio is 44 to 56. So they are 56% freight company, which is wagon manufacturing, and 44% is non-wagon, which is passenger side. So we'll look at the passenger side also. So Titagarh is not a pure play wagon company. इनका नाम भी चेंज हो गया है. Now they call themselves Titagarh Rail Systems. So the company plans to maintain its capacity in freight segment. Freight में capacity maintain करना है, और newer segments like metro and Vande Bharat will drive the growth for this business. So what are the key monitorable for us in Titagarh Wagon? Number one is metro. The company has an order book of around 6,800 crore in metro segment, and they are working in multiple project sites like Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Surat, and all of them. This has been kind of some order has got delayed. 9 months delay हुआ है, जो कि चाइना की कंपनी से उन्होंने शिफ्ट किया है into Bengaluru. So that's why there was a delay. But Vande Bharat is where they have collaborated with BHEL, where they have got a contract to supply 80 sleeper Vande Bharat sets, and the first delivery would start from March 2026, which was earlier in June 2025. So यही 9 महीने का जो delay हुआ है, that has dragged the stocks to a certain extent. So we have to track that. But where they are good at is in the backward integration part, where they are working on rail wheel and propulsion technology, which will add to the margins and improve the supply chain for the company. So margin expansion के लिए ये step लिया गया है, which is hugely positive for this company because this company is trying to increase their margin to the next level. Currently, they are operating at 12% kind of margin, 10%, 12%. But if they want, they are taking technology from ABB and Siemens and likes of that. So they are and learning the propulsion technology. I have done a deep dive into this part when I made first Titagarh wagon video. So you can watch in that video for understanding this bit more. And then the execution and delays, as I said, there had been delay in the project due to government modifying its requirement into Vande Bharat, and any further delay can impact the profitability of the company. So that's Titagarh for you. And if you want to know more on this, then we had made a detailed video which was launched some around 15 to 30 days back. So you can watch that video, or you can watch this after this. So that's there. Let me just check if you are able to see my screen. If yes, yeah, I hope everything is so far is doing well. Yeah, so let's go back to Titagarh. After Titagarh, let's have a look at Jupiter Wagon. So Jupiter Wagon is a company which is kind of number two by capacity almost. FY25 they had production capacity of 9,000 wagons. So they are not expanding into wagon side. Their order book is sufficient for next 1.5 years. They have 50% order catering to public, yani ki in public sector, which is Indian Railway, and 50% is almost private. That's why they have a better margin profile, because they are catering to high margin private wagon orders. So that's why that split is important, and that is the reason why Jupiter commands better margin than these guys. And also they are fully integrated players, so they have the casting capability. They have increased focus on private orders. So that is the wagon part of Jupiter Wagons. But they are not just wagon company; they are into different themes also. So key monitorables, number one is rail wheel. They had acquired Bonatrans, which was a rail wheel manufacturing company, for 271 crore from NCLT, and take the capacity to, I think it's NCLT or not, I'm not sure, but they want to take this capacity to 1 lakh wheel set from currently 20,000 wheel set, with offtake agreement with Tatragonka. Tatragonka is a Slovakian company. It's a Czech or Slovakian company. So they are the equity stakeholder into this company, into Jupiter also. So it's a strategic buyer, and 50% of it would be exported, and mostly 50% wheel set would be consumed in India. Most of it would be through Jupiter also. So they will be meeting to the demand deficit which is present in the market, because the railway wheel is a problem, a deficit area for all Indian wagon manufacturer, including Titagarh, Jupiter, and Texmaco has been doing well because they got the supply from rail wheel factory directly, but others are not able to get. So they will be sourcing their wagon rail wheel from Jupiter Wagon, except Titagarh, because Titagarh has also done a JV with Ramkrishna Forging, जहाँ पे वो rail wheel की factory वो खुद लगा रहे हैं. So this is on Jupiter. They launched a EV light commercial vehicle around 1 ton to 3 ton range में है, जो कि March 3rd 2025 को, as they promised, they have launched. So that is walking the talk. For a price of 10.35 lakh, plan to sell 5,000 vehicle by FY26. So they are advertising their features. Basically they have good features, but pricing is 10 lakhs. So let's see how many they can sell. So that is a key monitorable. Again, this is not a stock recommendation. This we hold Jupiter Wagon in the portfolio. Now they are, after wagon business doing so well, they want to reduce this wagon business component to less than 50% by FY28, with increased contribution from rail wheel and axle. So they are supplying axle to railway also. They are also into, they acquired a company called Log9, which is into battery system also. They have done a, they supplied to Indian Railway also for batteries. So BESS is something which they are good in. They had a very ambitious plans, and they wants to become a 10,000 crore revenue company in the long term. So the company has been walking the talk. Management is very clear-headed, and it's a forward-looking management. So that's why this looks like a good business to me. Texmaco Rail. This is the third company. So let's understand what metrics we can look at this company. Wagon production, they have done around 3,000 wagon per quarter. So roughly 12,000 wagon a year is the capacity, which makes them almost at the highest, as at par with almost Titagarh. Steel, they are vertically integrated like Titagarh, like Jupiter, with a steel foundry capability of 48,000 metric ton per annum. Order book is 7,600 crore. So this is good order they are having right now, and they're executing those order very successfully in current last 2 quarters at least. Private is yet 24% of their total. They were mostly catering to public sector, which is Indian Railway, but now the private exports are growing faster, so they have some technology tie up with export, for export also, which are growing. So earlier this used to be merely 12% of the sale. Now it is going to go up to nearly 24%. So is saal hi hai, next year further it can go up. They have the foundry business, which leads to better control of the supply chain for the wagon business. So they have a unique strength. They have a kind of moat into in the form of a foundry, which Jupiter also have. Key monitorables are that they are foraying into power EPC, which is basically substation and transmission. TND side में वो करना चाह रहे हैं, which is now constitute 27% of the order book. So as I said, they are getting into domain of skipper and all. They both are Calcutta based company. So that is their new area. They were having these technical qualifying criteria to supply to PGCIL and likes of that into transmission sector. So they are diversifying into power EPC. They already were doing some EPC work for railway. They had two subsidiaries. One was Titagarh Rail, and there was another one was Bright Power. So they were doing some work for national for Delhi Metro also. This is the only company which is expanding on the wagon side capability. So they had acquired Jindal Rail, which is into wagon manufacturing, and Jindal Rail had sold 1,400 wagons in 9 months FY25. So roughly 2,000 wagon looks like the capacity of this Jindal Rail. So if we add 2,000 to 12,000, so 14,000 wagon a year could be the maximum capacity one can see into Texmaco, which is the highest in country as we speak. Steel foundry, maybe they are trying to expand by 3,500,000 MTPA from 48 to 83 MTPA, mainly to cater to export market. So they are gearing up for export. So that is the thing to watch out for. They also are trying to transfer their infra rail business and green energy business. So there are some restructuring is ongoing. This transfer to be completed in 12 to 15 months. So there is some spin off and something will happen. So we have to watch out for that. So that's there on the agenda so far. So if you are want to have a deep dive on railway microcap, which we discussed exclusively for members, then you can consider joining our membership, which is YouTube membership. If you are not a member yet, you can join now, and you can start watching many deeply research videos like this, where this the particular railway microcap is an interesting play. So just to tell you about this membership, there are two types of membership. Tier one is pro membership, where it has four benefits. First one is that you will get two exclusive members only video per month. You will get one members only live stream every month. So that's the prerogative of perk. Third number is that you will get action oriented market updates. So whatever we think is important for a company, which we have discussed on Sadhan or under membership, we keep updating. So we keep reading through and we keep flipping through newspapers and understanding, and we synthesize. We just put out something which is just there in the news. We try to look ahead in the future and try to share our synthesized wisdom with the community we have at Sadhan Pro. So you will get access to that, like con calls mein kya baatein hui and what was meaningful takeaway for con calls or from business updates, which companies share time to time. The members get the priority reply on comments. So this all comes in 599. So in less than 600 a month, you will get this access. Second is a prime tier, where whatever I said will be included. Apart from this, you will get access to Sadhan watch list, which are the stocks which we are looking at very closely. And they get early access to Sadhan videos, so on time access, and whatever we produce, we try to share just in time to Prime members. And all perks above included into Pro is there. And this membership is available for 11.99 only. So we are trying to build a community, and that's the agenda on in our mind. So if you have any questions with respect to railway, you can shoot to us right away on the comment segment, and you can start accruing benefit from our deep dives into multiple sectors. And we have covered it through multiple sector deep dives and stock deep dive through 14 exclusive videos for members. So you can join now and start benefiting from our insight. So that's all for on the this part. Okay, so I will just stop sharing the screen. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Yeah. Good morning, Prakash. Good morning, Manan, Sabir. Yeah, I'm just browsing through some questions. So I'll take another 10, 15 minutes for your questions with respect to railway. Saxoft, I have no idea what this company does. It looks like a software company. I'm not aware of this. Vishnu, your position size for Jupiter Wagon as a PF, and what is for Jupiter Intelligent have considered Oriental Rail? Yes, we have considered Oriental Rail, and we have considered Jupiter and Titagarh. This is currently, I don't know initial sizes because I stagger up. So initially, as my portfolio keep increasing, so I keep adding to any name. So it's not that I invested and forgot. I keep adding up as and when the connection goes up. So right now it is this would be around more than 5% in both of them, roughly put together 10% of my location to these two names which you asked about, 10-12%. So it could be 6%, 5%. uh, Thank you for praising our presentation, thank you. Yeah, Prakash, the Titagarh wagon is basically will be driven mostly from Vande Bharat and metro projects. So metro projects is something which is becoming more and more popular because अभी इस look at it from governance perspective, government को कोई भी municipality है, support गाजियाबाद म्यूनसिपैलिटी है या मेरठ है, तो उनको they have nothing else to do apart from doing this kind of projects where they will get some funding from, let's say जापान के सपोर्ट से आ गया या फिर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने सपोर्ट कर दिया, सेंटर ने कर दिया, तो वहाँ की रियल स्टेट की प्राइसेस बढ़ जाती है, तो रियल स्टेट की प्राइस बढ़ जाती है तो दे गेट स्टैम्प ड्यूटी का बेनिफिट, उनको स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वो बढ़ा देंगे या जितना भी है स्टैम्प ड्यूटी पे उनको ज़्यादा पेमेंट मिलेगा बिकॉज सर्कल रेट्स बढ़ जाते हैं, तो म्यूनसिपैलिटी हैज़ टू विन, they will win this game, so through real estate. So that's why many companies, many states, many cities, tier 2, tier 3 are doing wagon this metro thing, so which is constructive for this company. So we are restricting our questions to railway only. You can come into our AMA sometimes and ask any non-railway questions. Oriental Rail पे Princess Oriental Rail में the problem is that the company is not very clear in communicating. Although the business model and everything looks good, so it's not bad company. It's interesting company because they the what differentiate Oriental from others is that they are benefiting from both sides, on the passenger as well as on the freight side. सो फ्रेट साइड में तो आपको पता ही है कि वैगन्स में क्या सीन चल रहा है, पैसेंजर साइज में भी बहुत चीज़ें होने वाली हैं बिकॉज इंडिया हैज़ लॉट्स ऑफ डेमोग्राफी विच वांट्स टू मूव एंड नाउअडेज यू गो इनटू, तो सो सीटिंग और बर्थिंग में काफ़ी ऑर्डर इनको आ रहे हैं, दे आर हैविंग अ मार्केट शेयर ऑफ 25% इनटू सीटिंग एंड बर्थिंग साइड. सो आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग कि अगर इनको वंदे भारत वगैरह में सीटिंग और बर्थिंग के ऑर्डर इनको मिले भी हैं एक which would be high volume order, तो वंदे भारत से ओरिएंटल को फायदा होगा because they have a market share and all. So which financial year will rally start? Sir, I am not expert of rally gazing. We invest into the sectors which are under discovered, where people are not investing, and sometimes we invest into just before the stocks the sectors are going to turn around. So we are researching backing on our understanding of the sector and our understanding of the valuations. So market can remain irrational for long term more than what we think, because market is made up of all the peoples who are not rational. So what to say, I don't expect them to wake up to this reality one fine day. Frontier Springs is a good company in terms of what they do. They are market leader into there, and Air Springs are demands of current market, and they seems to be doing their production plan as per their capability, and looks like a sorted company to me. So no, I think that passes the test in terms of good railway component supplier. Yeah, Rail Jupiter is Jupiter's diversification to EV and batteries. Yes, it is a good capital allocation because they have done it quite ago. अभी तो रामदेव जी भी आ गए हैं, अभी वो पतंजलि के भी स्कूटर आ रहे हैं 14,000 में. But this is not that kind of diversification. I mean, I'm not saying कि Patanjali के लिए is bad, but I'm saying कि everybody is now doing some EV foray into it. But they were very earlier. Since I invested into them, तभी से उन्होंने ग्रीन पावर करके कंपनी है, ग्रीन मोटर पावर मोटर, कनाडा की, यूरोप, यूएसए की कंपनी है, उसमें उन्होंने टाई अप किया हुआ था कि दे विल गेट देयर CKD units from USA to India. अब उसको वो इंडियनाइज कर रहे हैं. So something which they were serious on it. So or that's why they could launch, and India में launch करना कोई बड़ा truck is not a easy job. Even Murugappa Group took lot time to launch a truck, and they launched it before them. So they are actualizing on it. So they are on it. They are not. This is not capital misallocation, because आप समझो इस चीज को, because अगर आप वैगन मेकर हो, आपने 30 साल साइकिल देखा है, you know that wagon order will die off after, let's say, 6 years or 7 years, whatever time period you think of. Then since it's a cyclical business, then you should have something diversified where you would keep churning your business. And that's why EV, and especially the critical part, the commonality is the log9 business, which is for EV battery, and battery is required for your for railway also. BESS is a requirement for railway also. So thank you. So railway exit strategies, as I said, if you miss the presentation, you can go and watch it. And what I know, I've shared with you that why the business pipeline, there is no risk into railway in terms of that Indian Railway is India की सबसे top rated, credit rated company है. These company wagon players are good into their execution. तो इसमें कोई रिस्क नहीं है. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट मैं अगर बिस्किट बनाऊंगा तो बिस्किट में मार्केट रिस्क है कि वेदर माय बिस्किट विल गेट सोल्ड और नॉट. But here there is no market risk. So that's why the exit strategy is because for me incrementally I'm sitting on 700-600% gain into these businesses. So for me exit strategy might be different from yours. So that is you have to take. Hilton more metals, I've seen this. I didn't like it. They did not look like a serious player to me. So Parin Dodia, welcome to Sadhan Prime. Thanks for joining us. So look forward, and Sadhan Prime, for news for them, whoever has today joined, that we have yesterday, day before yesterday, on first we have released our Sadhan watch list. So you can go and enjoy what we are looking at closely. Okay. I mentioned the portfolio percentage of my portfolio into railway. Yeah, around 16%, 18% types of would be there in railways. 10% तो ये दोनों ही होगा. There are other players also which I shared with community. So there are two more players through which we have around 17-18% exposure. Okay. Okay, so I'm just looking at questions which are relevant for today's discussion. So please don't feel offended if I'm not replying to any generic questions. What are the current metro coaches import? in India production ratio, where do you see it? So metro coaches was getting imported. It was 2 years back, but right now it's almost being made into India. Metro coaches, may you have to look at BML and all. They are deeply into it. So BML is an Indian player. Bombardier and all were once upon a time Delhi Metro को वो दे रहे थे, but Bombardier itself is not in a good shape. So पुराने अगर हिस्ट्री से देखें तो BML, Bombardier and Alstom. So Alstom, चलो वो I think they might be making in India only. So ये तीन लोग हैं, और उसके अलावा फिर टीटागढ़ आ जाता है and all those companies. So metro में there is not many players, and some here and there होंगे, और I'm not 100% sure, but एक आधा और player होंगे, एक दो और. Yeah, so any final questions? We have 4 minutes, as I said that we. So any question related to railway, and if you have questions to ask, then you can join Sadhan Pro also for asking questions, where we will be conducting next to next weekend an AMA with Sadhan community, and also on Sadhan practitioner. तो हम लोग हर weekend आज भी करने वाले, कल भी किया था. So there you get a chance to ask any question which you want, or there are live Telegram community also there in Sadhan practitioner. You can get your questions satiated, curiosity satiated in right away. You can ask questions, and me or other people are there who are learned, who knows, can answer. So Concord Control System, I've heard of this company. Not really, I'm not into it. I don't know whether they are into railway or not. Yeah, and the railway keeps doing many other things. So if you look at it, look at railway from a logistics partner also. There are companies, there are SME company who are partnering railway as a logistics supplier, so that if I add them and also as a railway value chain, that is another portfolio. So railway logistics is something one can look at. So a lot of things are happening into railway, because the railway minister Ashwini Vaishnav is a good railway minister. He's a technocrat. So that's why this sector is doing well, and it is supposed to do well in coming few years. So no need to panic sell into this, because मार्केट में क्या है कि जो बढ़ा है वही गिरेगा ना. मतलब जो बढ़ा ही नहीं है वो गिरेगा ही नहीं. तो जो बढ़ा है पिछले 3-4 सालों में वो थोड़ा सा करेक्ट होगा ही. दैट इज टाइम करेक्शन एनी विच वे. अगर वो बढ़ता नहीं तो होता ही. एंड देयर वाज अ रेलवे व्हील का चैलेंज भी था, इलेक्शन भी थे पिछले साल में, तो कैपेक्स स्टोरीज में थोड़ा सा ब्लिप तो आया ही था. एंड दैट्स व्हाई द स्टॉक्स हैज गॉट स्लाइटली पनिश्ड, बिकॉज थोड़ा थोड़ा जो है वो ऐड होता गया थोड़ा कि रेलवे की सप्लाई का इशू हुआ और इलेक्शन वाला, ये दो के कारण थोड़ा सा इसमें करेक्शन हुआ है. लाइक टीटागढ़ एंड ऑल हैज करेक्टेड. एंड टीटागढ़ में पर्टिकुलरली एक डिले था जो मैं डिटेल में बताया है आपको. So these factors have led to some downfall, but you have to track those monitorables कि अब इसमें क्या क्या हो रहा है. So once things are getting sorted, then market will start giving value to them, because market loves free cash flow, and these businesses are free cash flow generating businesses. और वही उसमें से कुछ लोग जो है उसको यूज कर रहे हैं for towards EV, towards metro. So and Titagarh is also going to announce a new foray into defense and shipbuilding. Largely shipbuilding में उनका पहले से भी था. So they will be ready with the plan. So this quarterly con call for Titagarh is going to be interesting. So watch out for that, this con call. For fee for practitioner is 20,000 a year. It's an annual program. IRCTC, I'm not, it's a tech business. I've not really tracked. IRCTC was already discovered stock, so I never tracked this, never bought this company. And I never bought, and it has happened that इसको valuation बहुत ज़्यादा दे दिया था, and I knew that government, I never participated because this was an understanding based company की railway की government of India would have to support IRCTC. If they will not support it, then it will not go. So that risk was there in IRCTC, because so IRCTC have not particular separate view on this, but I was cautious on the monopoly status and the valuation it got because of being IRCTC. I'll make a video on market cycles. Yes, I had done an interview with one of Beat the Street where explained this market cycle. So if you want to watch, you can go to Beat the Street channel and you can watch my interview where I have covered this market cycle, how it plays out. So okay, guys. So time's up, 12:45. So thanks for being a lovely audience, and hope to see you guys more. And thank you for joining. Thanks.